chatting. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
That's why I had my assistant get me my coffee mug.
Perfect.
You know it's lunchtime here.
Oh, guys, we just got live. I don't know how this happened.
Okay. Well, then I'm gonna back out of this. I'll see you. Bye.
Bye, Charles.
So we are early today. Welcome. If anybody's now early, we're not having any viewers yet, but I just started broadcasting. I don't know what happened. Hangout just started playing with me. So we're going to do the intro in a few minutes here, and I'm just going to go on mute for it. We'll see, okay? This is funny to be early. This has never happened before. So why don't we get it going? I know we're early today. Welcome. Good morning. My name is Robert Schmid. I am Deloitte's Chief IoT Technologist, also known as Mr. IoT. And I have a deep passion for all things digital. And this week on Coffee with Mr. IoT, I'm talking with Ashley Brown, responsible for marketing at Woodstream. And we're going to talk about all things connected. Ashley, welcome. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being on with us. I'm sorry for the glitch. It's really funny.
Problem.
Typically I press a button, and today my browser just hung up and off it went, starting the broadcast. So we're going to have this minute or so of us in the beginning sitting there when people watch it. So welcome to the show. We found you because you are in the business of connecting a variety of different things. And I often say, eventually all things will be connected. We're not going to call it the Internet of Things anymore. We never called it the Internet of People. We're just going to go back to calling it the Internet. But you have a very unique thing you connect to the Internet. It's a mouse and rat trap. And why connecting traps? What's the thought behind that?
So actually, it's really all about convenience, and we started connecting traps years ago, and we've been working on this technology, and we're really excited about it. We do a lot of work with the commercial side of our business with pest control operators, and for them, connecting mouse and rat traps is a cost savings initiative. So imagine you're that person that has to go out and check food safety plants, other businesses, residential homes, and you have that routine of going back and checking once a month. Imagine if you only had to go when you were alerted. So what our mouse and rat traps do is we have proprietary software and an app that the traps will send a notification to that tells you exactly when it was triggered. You can get battery life from that, and there's a lot of great details involved with the app. So for pest control operators, it's all about cost and making them more efficient at their jobs. On the other hand, we have a retail solution that's all about convenience for the consumer, for us. If you have a rodent issue at your home, a lot of times that might be in the basement, it might be in the attic, places that you don't want to frequent every day, could be a crawl space. So you put this trap there, you never have to go into those dark, dusty spaces anymore. You just get a notification and you know the only times you have to go there. So that's why we connected mousetraps. It always gets a great response from people and we love it.
So where can I get this mousetrap? I want to go and get this. Where do I go?
So right now you can find our Smart Kill electronic mouse and rat traps on the retail shelves. You can find them at Home Depot, select stores, as well as Ace and True Value hardware stores. Soon to be launched online, and you'll find it everywhere later part of this year. You can get the Smart Kill mouse trap for $49.99, and the rat trap retails about $69.99.
So $50 versus what does a regular mousetrap cost?
So if you're using our original wood snap trap, which we brought to the marketplace 120 years ago, that for a 4-pack will run you about $2. But you'd be surprised that when you break down how many times you can reuse these electronic traps, the financials and the cost really works out well for the consumer. And these Smart Kill traps that are sending us notifications, they're also electronic traps that run off of batteries. So it's a very humane way to take care of your problem. And these are traps that people have been buying and loving for decades, these electronic traps.
Interesting. So I've had a problem at my house, and I can see why this is nice. I mean, I would walk by there and check it, so I get that whole idea. It's fascinating. You said there is technology in there. Can we geek out a little bit? Tell me what's involved with this. Is this Bluetooth? Is this Wi-Fi? How did the development process of this go? My understanding is you don't just develop connected mousetraps. You are in the business of connecting products in general, which is pretty much what most people do. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So for our retail traps, those are Wi-Fi enabled, okay? And we're actually already working on the next generation of it. Development has been going on for a couple of years. And there was let's call it a Gen 1 connected trap for professional. This is our Gen 2. We're already working on Gen 3. That's how our business goes, right? We're here to develop new products and bring innovation to this space, and that's what we're trying to do. So right now we're using Wi-Fi only for our retail traps, and the provisioning of those traps, working with the app, is pretty straightforward. We've tried to make it as simple as we can, but we've already identified ways that we can even make it simpler for the consumer. So we have very detailed instructions, but that app walks the user right through exactly how to set up the trap. And it works similar to other connected devices, like when you set up your Amazon Alexa or a Nest or things like that. For our professional traps, which are a little different, we're using LoRa technology. So it is a longer range technology that's really critical to that space because we're putting these into warehouse buildings and other facilities that have cement floors. They might have cement walls, and we really need the signal to penetrate those and cast a wider net. So that was very important to our development of LoRa for the professional space.
So I'm curious, what other products, by the way, do you develop that are connected that we wouldn't know of?
So right now, this is for Woodstream. Our company has several brands, and most in the lawn and garden section of your local hardware store. And my division is the pest and animal control. So we have a lot of benchmark brands: Victor, which is my brand; Taro, Safer, Have a Heart. So a lot of names that people know that when they have a pest control issue. So right now we've connected several different, like I said, iterations of our rodent traps. We're working on some cage traps and a lot of other things that are in our pipeline that because we understand that this is the type of technology that consumers are looking for and professionals are looking for. It's all about convenience, making their job easier, and taking out as many steps as we can from the process.
I wonder, when you talk about this, so what happens is, before you would have a product and you give it to retail and it ships and you never really know where that product ends up. Today, the customer connects that to their Wi-Fi network. So suddenly you have a one-to-one connection with the customer, which is a big deal. What has changed for you in your business model because of that? Because now you're in contact with them, you can talk to them, you can give them advice, you can give them information, how to set it up, what to do, which was something you had to print before, or they had to go on your website. Now they're interacting with you real time in the app.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a great question and a great point. We very quickly saw, as we developed an app that was going to support these connected traps, what that could mean for all of our products. So you asked about the entry-level mousetrap. Well, we still make those, and we're going to continue to make those. But how can we bring that together with our app? And that's something we're working on for 2019. That's going to be launched out into the marketplace, but really taking our entire Victor product line and potentially even extending that out to some of our other brands, but really bringing everything together so that, okay, you might not be using a Wi-Fi enabled mousetrap, but we can send you a notification that to remind you, hey, I set this trap a week ago, go back and check it, make sure you don't have to put more bait on there, refresh the bait or something like that. We have repellent solutions that have, we ask people to, replenish that every 30 days. Reminders to go and check on your repellent. So there's so many things that we can do now that we have that touch point with the consumer. It's not something that all manufacturers have the ability to do. And we're really excited that we're kind of pioneering that in this space, that we're going to be able to really talk to them one-on-one.
Gotta be a whole new, as a company, Woodstream, things have changed for you. Before you were a product company and you were marketing to retailers. Now you've become both a B2B as well as a B2C play, haven't you?
We have, yeah, and we're seeing it internally how things are evolving and what that means for us. Some of the some of the skill sets that we need to be able to support. We have software. Our electrical engineers have been really, really busy. We have an amazing R&D team that is now, we have people that are focused on this. So it's exciting. And I think we're lucky as an organization that we have a leadership team that's supporting and understands the need for this technology on both the professional and the retail side.
If you're just joining us, I'm Robert Schmid, the Chief IoT Technologist for Deloitte, and you're watching Coffee with Mr. IoT. Today, my guest is Ashley Brown, responsible for marketing at Woodstream, specifically for Victor brands, as I found out now. I want to ask you something else on this sort of like shift that goes on. How does that work? So I put myself in my shoes. I had a rodent problem. I got some traps, and I put them out there. But I was really kind of thinking maybe I should get someone professional to do that. But now if I think about you having an app that actually tells me what to do and probably where to put it, and you can really interact with me, does that take away? Have you seen that the rodent, the pest control professionals have less work because of what you do? There is a decline because of this, because you're actually empowering and enabling the end consumer better?
So I mentioned that we do support both businesses, the professionals and retail, and you'd be surprised. We actually continue to see a rise in residential needs on the professional side of the business. I think if you asked any of our partners in pest control, they'd say they continue to see residential consumers needing their support. There's always going to be that person that doesn't want to deal with this problem on their own, and we recognize that. So we're trying to give the person that wants to tackle it on their own as many solutions as possible to help them and give them the best options and the most innovative options. But we also distinguish and offer our professional pest control customers something that might be a little bit different, or ways to improve their business, right? So we actually, I think it probably makes sense that maybe it would be pulling, but it really doesn't as much as you would think. The professionals are able to spend more time on value-added tasks rather than checking traps.
It's a little bit like when we talked about e-commerce many moons ago, and where all the retailers were worried about e-commerce cannibalizing, and now we've seen that actually what really is working is being able to shop at both at the same time and combining. So I'm curious, you talked a little bit about the connectivity being Wi-Fi for the residential and being LoRaN for the professional. Tell us a little bit about when you started this process. You had people that were really knowing electronics in there, but it's a real different thing to start connecting it and so forth. What did you find? Was the technology there? How much did you have to do on your own? Did you partner? I often talk about this is a team sport. You got to team up with other people. Curious how you went about that problem.
So we have a team, a couple people specifically that we have them looking into new tech and emerging technologies all the time. So they kind of guided the decision making as far as what technologies to use for retail and for PCO. It has been an evolution. There was a product that we had out on the market many years ago that was connected, and even at that point in time, we knew where the future was going. And so these guys, they make decisions based on where they thought the marketplace was going. They made a decision on LoRa, they made a decision on Wi-Fi for retail, and it's worked out great. And we're really pleased in their guidance. As far as the connecting, we've used some outside partners to really help us understand where we need to be and what it takes to bring products like this together. I think we've learned a lot internally, and we've relied on those external partners to kind of guide us through, and it's been a great collaboration. But we, like I mentioned earlier, we're really lucky that we have a great group of engineers here that do understand this space, and they're able to take what they know about rodent control and connect that with what they know about technology. So it's really neat.
Very cool. So tell me, I know you can't give us future plans beside what you've announced, but I'm more curious, not about the plan and the product. I'm more curious about the ideas, sort of like, where would you like to be 2-3 years down the road with connecting things and connected whatever you do? I'm just sort of like, what are the things, the ideas, the concepts you're thinking of?
Yeah, and you know, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head a little bit earlier in that we have this now connection with our consumers that we never had before via this app. So where we can take that and how we can connect other products is really exciting, and it's all on our radar. So we know that we've got these connected electronic products now, but what else can we connect? What else can we make viable via that app? And then having that touch point with consumers, I mean, what else can we give them? Can we alert them to, you know, the seasonality of what we see with rodent control problems based on their location? Can we bring augmented reality to that app? Because people walk up to the shelf in the retailer, and this is a very confusing section. If you've never had a rodent control problem before, and this is your first time, you moved into a new house, you have a little critter, you go to the store, and you're like, where do I begin? We want to help consumers guide that, you know, thought process, and we want to be able to do it right at the shelf. So we're working on things that are going to be able to help tell that story and guide them through the process right there, using augmented reality, using the app, using you know, new packaging techniques, things like that. So we absolutely realized very quickly as we were developing and about to launch this Smart Kill electronic product that there was a whole slew of ways we could use this Internet of Things to help our consumers and you know, be a valuable brand to them.
So I have an idea, and maybe we're brainstorming here now when I'm getting way outside my regular coffee chats here, but I'm curious. I'm imagining this. I have a house, and you know, I don't think rodent problems are typically something that happens at one place. If you have it at your house, they don't really know that this is my house and don't go to the neighbor. They start going to neighbors and so forth. But the idea I have is that once you have in a certain area a problem, then other people have the problem too. And I could learn from my neighbor's trap. So do you do things where you incent people to go and like crowdsource their information with their neighbors and so forth, which means then the more traps are out there and talk, and you get the information that you can actually tell other people about it. And so in a way, you create a crowdsourced rodent force?
Yeah, and I mean, I like that idea. I like where you're going. One thing we did do is we built in the app the ability to share your catches on social media, which we think is pretty neat. So you know, those are things that we're incorporating into the app. But you know, crowdsourcing, that's a great idea. And you know, we get to see it based on sales at retail. You know, where and the weather, and we have a lot of things that we track to really be able to see when things might spike. But I love the idea of saying, you know, hey, Mr. Smith down the street, what are you seeing? And seeing how that relates to your house. Absolutely. I think that's cool.
I mean, it's almost like, I want the nest of mousetraps, right? Because if I have one trap around the house and it reports what's going on to you, then it sort of like becomes more of a shared information thing and so forth. So
yeah.
I kind of find that fascinating. I'm gonna talk to you about that more offline. Can I get a trap that I can actually put sort of like connect? So do you do video on the traps? That I find what happens is if the trap goes and I have this idea that the mouse goes in there. I've had this on my traps, and I'm not really good at putting the bait on there. And the mouse goes around everything it needs to go. It takes the cheese off and runs off and smiles and laughs at me. Is there video stuff going on with it, or is it truly just sensors and so forth?
Yeah, there's no video built into the trap now. We do have sensors built in, so it obviously has to sense when a mouse is in there. Some kind of sensing and video monitoring are all things that we've thought a lot about, mostly right now on our professional side of our business. But those are things that are definitely on our radar as well. Yeah.
Well, I have to tell you, the social media sharing thing made me laugh, and now I have this idea that there's a mouse cutely smiling at me, and we're gonna have the new Facebook, instead of cat pictures, we're gonna have mouse pictures. So, anyhow, I'm getting off track here. I often talk to people, and I ask them, you work in this space at work, right? What do you do at home about IoT? What connected devices do you have? What do you use in your life in terms of connecting things beside the mousetrap? I'm sure you don't have a rodent problem anymore, given where you work.
No. Luckily, I didn't have one in the first place. However, my husband has tested our traps out in our shed. So he's very excited about that. And we do have some connected products. I think I'm on this cusp where I think it's really cool, but I'm not the person that has all of their lights connected and all of that stuff yet. So we have outdoor Nest cams, which are super convenient for us because we don't have a window where we can see our driveway. So we love that. It's tremendous. And we have Alexa. So we've connected with her. We have smart TVs. So I would say we're maybe, somewhere not quite super connected, but we're definitely above average, I would say. Oh, I lost it. Are you there?
I came back.
Okay.
Sorry for that.
No problem.
So you're not super connected, but you're somewhat connected. Well, maybe I'll bring you a few connected devices and we'll trade. I get some mousetraps from you and trade for, I don't know, an indoor nest thing or something like this.
Yeah, that would be great. I can definitely get you that.
So you had Alexa. Did Alexa start laughing at you lately?
No, she didn't, thankfully, but that would have creeped me out because I heard plenty about it.
I don't know. I thought it was kind of funny. I don't know. I mean, if I could have turned it off, obviously, but in any case. Really cool. So in closing, anything I didn't ask you about that you want to talk about? Anything, just curious. I really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you.
I'm glad you did. I don't think so. I think we kind of touched on everything, but I will say, we joked when we were developing this about connecting our traps with Alexa at first. And, imagine sitting there at your dinner table when you have guests over and Alexa says, you've caught a rodent, you've caught a rat in your Victor Smart Kill. So we just got a laugh out of that. But no, I appreciate your time today and talking to me about our traps. And, we're really excited about what's the future of Victor. So
I have to tell you, I mean, I'd almost go and instead of call a rodent, you could say Victor showed up and nobody would know what it means. And you can even give Victor its own name and then people wouldn't know, that it's a rodent. But in any case, I get it. So it's not Alexa integrated or Google Home integrated right now. It doesn't give you a verbal notification.
No, but that is part of our second phase. So second phase is happening very, very quickly.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yep.
Well, Ashley, I really appreciate your time. This was awesome.
Yeah.
Our coffee break is coming to a close, and please join me again next Friday at 9 Pacific, noon Eastern for another Coffee with Mr. IoT. And if you missed any of today's conversation or past episodes, please check out my YouTube channel, and you can see all the recordings. And with my screen is broken. I'm really having tech problems today.
And by the way, if you're just back, I'm sorry I had to reboot. I apologize for our tech problems today. It'll be better next week. Bye.